I've already made a video on this rear end before, so, and in that video it showed there was some rust, and what I'm thinking is that it wore out the area that was rusted, that was above the gear oil when there was water in it, and the moisture rusted it, and now it's really starting to wear on that part. So I'm assuming that it's going to be in really bad condition. And the reason I assume that is because the speedometer was tweaking, and therefore I feel like there's probably a lot of metal on that sensor. I'm actually kind of shocked as to what I'm seeing here. So it's looking like the yeah, so it looks like the pinion has actually made contact with the carrier, which is interesting. Not sure how that's happening, because I just tightened up the pinion nut. It shook itself apart, and I'm not sure how that's happening, but we will see. Alright guys, so I ended up putting the transmission back together in my car because I had to get this tool. But here's the damage on that 8.8. Alright, so I just got it back together with the new races and bearings and shims and gears. And you can see I used the 30,000 shim on the pinion depth that was in there, and it set it perfectly. It's right on the money where it needs to be. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start getting it put back together, but before that, I'm gonna go ahead and check the backlash here, show you how I do it. I personally have a feel for it, and I don't lock the gear in the back or nothing like that, because there's already a resistance to it, so there's not really a big need to lock that gear. So yeah, that's perfect, good to go. And I'm gonna go ahead and put the axles back in, the cover on, and then fill it up. Here's another better shot at the damage. It was kind of cutting into there, as I said in the first clip. It was cracked in one spot as far as I could see in that first video. I'm not sure, it's been a couple days, but and then it ended up exploding. So it happened backing up the driveway into the garage to get rebuilt, so luckily it didn't happen on the road. You can see that the pinion gear got chipped pretty bad in a couple spots, and otherwise it doesn't look terrible. I mean, it's got some pitting from the lack of gear oil changes and not having a breather tube, but clutches were shot, so I was ready to rebuild it anyway, but I didn't want to spend money on that kind of stuff. But it made the decision for me. Here's a good shot at one of the clutches, kind of not looking too good there. But yeah, it basically just blew up, and very slow speed too. It was probably going about a half of a mile per hour. So luckily that didn't happen at a higher speed, otherwise it would probably have damaged a lot of more things, like last time with the other truck. But highly recommend the Yukon gears, and I'm not sure. There's the carrier assembly. It's kind of a bad picture I took there, but Powertrax grip limited slip differential LS 108 831 Ford 8.8 31 spline. So pretty good stuff, because when you're accelerating even on dry pavement, it always skips the inside tire, whether it's turning to the left or turning to the right. So that's going to work really good in the snow and stuff, and so far hasn't done any kind of one wheel peels, so highly recommend.